The wages and benefits of this department is included in the allocation to TIFA. So we do charge reimbursement to TIFA every year, and it's actually limited to 15% of the revenue in TIFA. So it calculates to about $1 million or some change, about $1.2 million that comes in to the general fund for reimbursement of overhead costs. And part of that is the reimbursement for this department's wages and benefits. So George's department, as you can see, he does a lot with TIFA. That's why those wages are allocated to TIFA, because his department is really the liaison with TIFA and does all the TIFA work for them and things like that. So all of this expense here for wages and benefits are being reimbursed by TIFA. And then there's a couple of those miscellaneous items in there that there's no requests for, but in the past there's been a couple of small items. So that's really, small department really in summarization. And then as like I said, as the councilman wanted, we're just going to go to who is included in that department. And as you can see, we do have 2 full-time FTEs, and then sorry. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. We'll do one more. Here we go. One more.
Thank you.
So that's what we have here. Is those are positions are in there. Special events programmer at 75%, and then we have the community development coordinator at 10%.
I thought there was an employee that was like a 50-50 split in that department, no? Between that and CEG, or is that the community?
I believe it's the 10% allocation. That position, I believe the 9%, and we'll go to community development right next. So, so you can see it there. So, basically, you can see it's really involved around marketing, economic development, these positions. So,
there's no projects in there. Really,
no.
This is just based on staff.
So marketing, communities, golf, rep?
Like I said, that's the default title position that's in there. It might not have been changed from a prior or something like that, but I would consider that just marketing communications.
So that's not even, that 56,000 isn't that, nobody fills that position?
No, there's a person.
Oh, okay.
There's someone in there. Like I said, we just tried to leave the names out.
Oh, right,
At
first I thought you were saying that was something that didn't belong in there.
Yeah, nope, that's
Okay.
We move
So
somebody
the-
else
so
out
the-
of that?
Like, for example, Carl. Carl would be someone that's out of this department. The communications director, it would be someone else's department. George, obviously, 100% out of his department.
Okay.
And then there's, like I said, there's some support personnel as well, too, that comes out of this.
Did we move somebody else out of this
Um,
recently? I thought there was more. Move somebody out? Yeah. No,
no, not recently. I'm not aware of anything recently.
the staff do the same. The staff count.
The councilman was just talking about if there's anybody that's been recently taken out of this department, and I can't recall, not recently, I don't think it's recently. I mean, I can't remember.
5 months? I think moved. Maybe it was-
There's been some relocation, positions still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that person was still being partially out of this. So they
Well, the
moved-
75%.
Probably is some that was allocated still.
25%. For the person that's allocated 75%, where's the other 25% allocated?
The 25%, the special events programmer is,
General fund, isn't it?
it's in general fund, well, this is no general fund, yeah, but this is really, it is general fund, probably in the Parks Rec administration area. That's probably where that other 25% is.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I can tell you right now, I know, like I said, this is Carl. I believe this is Carl. I don't know why he says it out there. And again, it's one of those things where it's just probably a typo or something. But again, I like that, so we don't worry about putting names out, but that's fine. So, and then like I said, support personnel and George on top. So.
Okay.
And that's it, I mean, it's all wages and benefits in this department, and again, reimbursed by TIFA through the overhead costs that we charge to TIFA, so. And you guys do have, in the packets, you guys do have a TIFA proposed budget and everything like that. They did approve the budget as presented at their TIFA meeting, because it is approved by their board, and then just council for information purposes. And again, Councilman Johnson is the council rep on the board. I don't believe you were at that meeting.
No, I had to join that night, so.
Yeah, it was relatively, like I said, discussions were, there's some projects coming up. I mean, George, you want to allude to the projects in TIFA, but not a whole lot of dialogue during the budget.
We get
approval,
forward
so,
project,
Yeah.
or some of the projects on there, some street work.
If you got some time, I can bring it up. I mean, it's on one of your pages if you want to.
$61.
61? Since we have a little bit of time.
George, if we could, if we could, and I don't know if it's happening still, but it did happen for a while and it did happen. But could everybody get copied on the TIFA minutes?
Well,
Every
yeah,
time? And the agenda every time?
yeah, I think you see my response.
I didn't see it.
Email, we make sure that we do the package to Michelle, and Michelle can distribute how she receives that.
So George, if you want, I'll give it to George. Yeah, page 61. Again, this is information purposes only. George, if you want. George, if you want, there's the record. But again, as you can see, for the TIFA, the DDA, Brownfield, those are all approved by those respective boards. And what you have here is you have, the TIFA, which is the largest of our TIF components by any means. And as you can see, there's a few administrative costs. There's the overhead that I was talking about that goes to the city. And then you get into your large capital projects. I believe the projects are pretty much self-explanatory when you look at the line item name. Unfortunately, I don't have it on the screen
big
here.
number is the allocation, what city service.
Yeah, that's the allocation.
1.1.
So part of that 1.1 is the reimbursement to general fund for the wages and benefits of that department.
So
So,
where we need road improvements, Eureka, landscape projects, lights on Eureka. A lot of it is TIFA's funds are for the greater good of the economic development, so we earmarked a lot for them for Eureka corridor Van Born improvements. We earmarked some dollars for that.
There's nothing for 1920 though for
I wonder if that's is that in there?
No, because we haven't spent their current year.
yeah, because
And remember, Van Born
Yeah,
is,
sorry,
not all of Van
yeah.
Born's in a TIF district, so whereas unlike Dearborn Heights, the entire stretch of Dearborn Heights, I believe, is in a
Yeah.
TIF district.
Oh, is it?
So, yeah, so ours is not.
Yeah, because nothing has really happened in that corridor
Are
yet.
we-
Nothing was earmarked for 19.
So the 700,000 here hasn't been spent, you
No.
said? So that's why you,
We're still kind of waiting to see what's going to go on
Well,
between us and Dearborn Heights.
Yeah, I met with Wade Trim 2 weeks ago, and they were going to try to spearhead another meeting. We have money allocated, we're ready to go. We'd like to work collectively, but it seems like their interest has kind of fallen off. I don't know how else to explain it, so they were gonna try to facilitate a meeting to find out, engage what their interest is, and if not, then we'll move forward accordingly.
I was gonna say, you could do it with,
On our side.
their part,
Yeah.
we could do our side with them.
It would be nice to, one of the thoughts was, is there's some low-hanging fruit that we can do, like be consistent in our ordinance
Right.
between the corridors, You notice that corridor has a lot of used car dealerships.
Yeah.
We could tighten that up and kind of clean it up and clean up the corridor, so those are things that maybe we can work with them, because I think they're challenged with funds.
But you don't want that to deter us from wanting to go forward with what we.
Right, and we should try to be at least improve what we can
Right.
improve together as
As
a
far as
group.
you can.
And I think they'd be very supportive of that. When it comes to funding, I think, the verdict's out with them still.
I do believe there's still some pretty big ticket items in the TIFA budget as placeholders for the golf course and the sportsplex. As I mentioned early on, we left a lot of these capital requests in the budget, and So, I don't remember, I don't know the number, George, what's being allocated, but I thought the golf course was like 1.2 million or something in capital expenses.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah, so again, it's made up of a lot of the requests that you'll see from Jeff Dolbeck, but there's a lot of work still to be done and to get it, you know, back up to par.
First place is less than what it was in 1800.
Yeah.
We've got quite a bit of improvements there.
And if I may,
I would recommend you go by there, I think you'll see the tremendous improvement.
and if I may, just for some of the newer council people as well, to just kind of explain a little bit about TIPS, which is the TIFA DDA Brownfield. It's a tax increment financing. So basically, when these areas are established, TIFA, DDA, Brownfield sites, what it does is once those are established, you set a base taxable value at the year it was established. And then when we pour money, or when developers pour money into these areas, as that taxable base increases over that base, then the DDA Brownfield can capture not only the city tax millages, but they can also capture county, in some instances, schools and RESA. So it's a very good vehicle to, you know, to capture tax revenue, and it can always be used for certain things. Like, for example, TIFA, 20–25% of the cities in the TIFA district, so that's why you see the large budget, but it can only be spent in the TIFA district. Same premise for DDA Brownfield. They can only be spent in those designated areas. And I know you'll see on there the DDA is on 63, and Brownfield is probably a couple pages before. But the main thing that hampers the DDA is the Island Lakes development over, if you're familiar with the development, it's over on Goddard Road just before Allen. But that was a deal that was done back in the 2008 timeframe, where the city issued bonds to help the developer to do remediation costs, to do infrastructure, sewer, water, all that stuff to make that happen. And then the recession hit, the developer left the city with the bill. The development is nowhere where it needs to be according to the estimates. So basically since that it's in the Brownfield site, but since it's in the DDA district, there's a sharing agreement between the DDA and Brownfield that the DDA will help the Brownfield pay for some of those bond costs. So in our DDA district, which is all Goddard I believe just between Telegraph and Allen, off Goddard is the DDA district, but since they have that agreement, any excess tax revenue that they get has to go to the Brownfield to help offset that approximately $900,000 debt payment per year. So, because that site is only bringing in about $100,000 tax revenue, so the Brownfield or the DDA has to help, and a couple of other financing sources has to help them out, because it's just one of those things. It's what it is. It was a decision made a long time ago.
Some broke going into Island Lakes, and I think
There is.